examine how urban areas can tackle air pollution through collaborative efforts. Leaders from both public and private sectors will share innovative strategies and integrated solutions. The panel will highlight how progressive policies and advanced technologies can drive collective action towards cleaner air and healthier cities. To take this session forward, may I please welcome the moderator, Mr. Sunil Desai, Co-Chair, CII Cleaner Air, Better Life, and Managing Director, Richfield Engineering, and all panel members to the dais. The panel members in this session are Rahul Kapoor from Camphil, Mr. Krishan Kumar Sharma from DCM Shriram, Mr. Harshvardhan Bansal from Unity Group, and Mr. Ronak Sutaria from Respire Living Sciences. I now request the moderator, Mr. Sunil Desai, to set the context and begin the discussion.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and my colleagues on the dais. Clean air, better life is something which is of importance to everybody. We go through this challenge every day, from our house to our office, back when we are in the streets, or where we go for our meetings. And this is something of importance which we have our fellow panel members, they can give a lot of more, throw their lights on the questions which we arise from the industry or from our living across the globe. Either you are living in India or living anywhere in the world across into a nearby a seashore, or you're living into the hills. This is a challenge which we keep on coming across every day. I would not, we are pressed on time, so I would not like to go more into detail, but gathering this opportunity to leverage our expertise, we need to deliberate, discuss, and put forth some of the effective solutions and find the answers within the framework of our topic, and also see that we are able to muster and arrive at a solution, deliberating within inputs from the panel members and also from inputs coming back after the session from your end. I welcome here with Mr. Harshvardhan Bansal, co-chair, co-founder of Unity Group, and I think so you know about Unity Group. I have Mr. Rahul Kapoor, Managing Director, Camphil. They are into filtration, and then we have Mr. K.K. Sharma with Environmental Health and Safety from DCM Shriram, and we have Ronak Sutaria from Respire Living Sciences. To deliberate and start first with, I would like to have Mr. Bansal, co-founder, some few questions. During GRAP construction activities, often under scrutiny for role worsening air quality from your perspective, what proactive measures can the next private sector, I'll say specifically private sector, adapt to minimize dust emissions while minimizing economic implications and within the restrictions of the law?
Namaskar. So first of all, I will give you some brief before we start about the answer about the construction industry in, can say, GRAP in construction industry. So we all know that construction industry is playing a big role now in economic growth of the country. Yesterday, our Honorable Prime Minister was addressing a semiconductor factory, a semiconductor seminar, and construction is now playing a big role, around more than 10% in Indian economic growth. We are the construction industry is the second largest employer in the, you can say, in the country. So we can't ignore construction sector. It's a paying around 10% playing role, and the second largest employer. So it's a very, very important sector. So what happened a few years back, whenever the GRAP is a Graded Response Action Plan set by CII-ITC on the direction of Supreme Court. Whenever there was a GRAP 3 particularly, the construction industry was asked to stop the construction, which means everything is stopped. The labor is stopped, the construction, entire everything is on standstill. So it was a very bad situation because at the end of the day in construction industry, the workers are the poorest people in the earth. They work in the construction industry, unskilled laborers, poor people, the people or the lowest part of the economic system. So the construction stops and suddenly the AQI goes down, the construction, you can say, starts again, AQI goes up, construction stops. So stop and start, stop and start, stop and start started. So we presented, you can say, detailed presentation to CAQM through CII that construction industry plays only around 9 to 10% in, you can say, AQI or the PM 2.5 and PM 10 particulate, and that too not the entire construction industry. We identified with the help of experts, there are only 5 to 6 activities which creates some part of, you can say, PM 2.5 and PM 10. Rest around 40 activity in construction industry has no role to play in AQI or AQI, you can say, increase. I will give you a few examples. I will first give you the example of negative, the you can say activity which can create some of the AQI rise. The first one is excavation. If we excavate and we do the earthwork, excavation and refilling, that creates some dust particles in the air. So that is one activity. The second one is the demolition. If we demolish the building, you can see dust particles generates and goes in the air. These are the second activity. And third one is mainly the cement related activity, like wet concrete, wet mortar, cement based mortars, not the chemical, the cement based mortars. The third activity. And the fourth activity is the marble cutting, polishing, marble laying. These are the fourth activity. And the fifth one is the some part of the painting which are dangerous, otherwise rest painting is good. Besides these 5-6 activity, all other 40 activity like bar binding, shuttering, electrical, plumbing, window, air conditioning, there are many activity in construction industry which have zero role in AQI increase of that. But the myth is that whenever there was a increase in AQI, the construction industry stops. So we presented this to CAQM and I'm thankful to them. They agreed in 2023 that these 6 activity will be stopped during GRAP and rest of the activity now they permit, which is a great relief also. Now coming back to your question that what are the, I can say, measures we should take. Now these measures are very popular and most of them are now people are following. Rather than Delhi, everybody is now following these measures. The first is the, you can say, wind breakers, like we create a 10-meter high shield across the site to dust should not go out and should not come in from the outside also. So that's the first one. The second one is the, whenever any truck goes out from the site, we have a wheel washer in the site itself so that the dust with the tire doesn't go out. So every time the truck goes out, it's very simple, there is no cost involved. You just have to create a pit with the fresh water and the truck goes out while washing the tires. Like we go to temple or Gurdwara, when we enter, we wash our foot before entrance. Like similarly, the truck goes out and the tires are washed automatically in the pit. So that's a very simple and easy method. And then whenever you do the marble cutting and all, it should be wet cutting, not the dry one. Again, there is no role of, you can say, money. And then we sprinkle the water on the building material is covered. And similarly, if the excavation is done and you are not using excavated area for the few times, then you can plant grass on that. So very simple local grass, if you plant on the earthwork, 1 rupee a square foot or something like that, the grass holds the dust and it avoids, you can say, dust to, you can say, accumulate. very, very small smoke guns. Smoke guns are now very popular, anti-smoke guns, and you just deploy smoke guns on the construction site as well as on the rooftop of the building. It helps us reducing the dust level. And now what happened, the CII-ITC have asked us to install monitoring at the site. And sometime you will be very happy to note that the AQI level at construction site where the monitoring is going on, where the preventive measures are going on, is less than the outside. So construction industry playing a big role, we have to, you can say, go with the construction industry. And one thing I will like to more add that, nowadays we always say the construction industry, the diesel vehicle, the generators, dust, prali, all playing a role. Now even on 3rd of September, everything is going on. Construction is going on, generators are going on, diesel vehicles are going on. The AQI is less than 50. So it doesn't mean that these generates the dust or AQI. It's the weather. It's the wind. In the winter, the wind you can say is very low, almost less than 5 km/h. That's why the dust particles doesn't go away, flew away, and they accommodate in the wet temperature.
Thank you, Mr. Bansal. Just an observation. We are also in a little bit of construction part of it. Just a small question. Coming out of the building, I mean, we go into this thing, there's a construction of the government building going on. Why the equipments are dirty? Is it the same across, or there's no law for that?
Equipments are?
They're very dirty. I mean, you talk about that you could pond, to take out the truck so the wheels go through a tire and it's washed out.
Actually, you're right. It's a very simple process. Initially, when anything comes to new in the city, initially the tire washing was just a pond. Nowadays, it is not a pond. The water, you can say, circulates. The water goes out, the dust is clean, and there is a sprinkler now. Whenever the truck tire goes away, the sprinklers automatically on, and the sprinkler washes the tires. So it's a necessity, is the mother of invention, you can say. When anything is new in the city, you just try with the basic things, and whenever you learn things, you try to improve it.
Thank you. This is a very interesting subject, and it needs a lot of merry man-hours to discuss. This brings me to Rahul Kapoor, our managing director from Camphil. An interrelated question that how the rapid advancement of air filtration and how effectively we can integrate this into the public offices, into the homes, and protect public health. While when we are doing the construction, the dust is emanating across, and how to arrest that portion.
Sure, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. May I have your attention, please? Thank you. It's a small gathering, so I think it's important if we all listen to each other. I'll make it a little interesting to answer this question. How many of you do Alom Vilom or Pranayam in the morning? Okay. How many of you are into any kind of physical activity, running, jogging, gymming, etc., etc.? Quite a lot, right? That's a good audience. Now tell me, how many of you can hold your breath for over 1 minute? 60 seconds. Okay. 2 minutes? Not so many, right? Not right. Please don't do it, okay? I'm not advising that. But the point I want to make here is, we eat about 1 to 2 kgs of food every day, depending upon our appetite. We drink about 6 to 7, 8 liters of water. But can you guess how much of the air we breathe in every day? Anybody? Not from the industry though. Yes. 20,000 times a day, which translates to about 15 kgs to 20 kgs, depending upon your breath. So that's enormous, right? We breathe in 15 kgs of air. Now, when we drink water, if we see something in it, we don't drink, we ask for the replacement. So is with the food. But what do we do with the air, which you can't see and you can't smell? We have no choice. And that's what exactly makes our job very difficult and important at the same time. Now, thanks to a lot of initiatives which government has taken, and a blessing in disguise which fell upon us as a curse, COVID, we have all seen what a dirty virus can do to all of us. Now that brings me to the question, what is this air quality? What CAMFIL can do to help you, or as an industry, all of us together can do to help you? Or what are we doing? The first thing is the awareness. Now, thanks to the COVID, thanks to a lot of other things which have happened around us, we all understand the importance of having the clean air. Second important thing is that we spend about 90% of our times indoors. Now, that is an amazing stat. 90% of our time, on an average, we spend indoors. It could be our home, it could be office, it could be our car, gym, anywhere. And the air quality indoors typically is about 2 to 5 times, in some locations even more, worse than the outdoor air quality. Strange, right? I mean, everything sounds very strange. But this is how it is. If somebody puts an air quality meter inside this room with all of us here, we could have a disaster. Now, having said all the cons, the pro is that we have become more aware of it. I'll give you a couple of classic examples. We did a school in Delhi where we provided the air filtration solutions. So during October and November, when most of the schools shut down in Delhi NCR, and they convert into online schools, virtual classes, this one school sent a letter or email to the parents stating that please send your children to school. School is much safer than your home because we have a beautiful air purification system which maintains air quality better than World Health Organization standards. Amazing, right? We have on panel Mr. Bansal, who builds malls, and I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with Dwarka, but if you've been to Vegas Mall, he claims it has a better air quality than the outside. So he's done some measures. So first thing was to get aware of our surroundings, which we are fortunately aware of. Second thing was to bring in the industry, bring in the awareness to get the corrective actions, which we have done. And I guess the last solution here is the monitoring. Because we cannot see or feel or smell the air, it has to be monitored. So my last take here is, as we become more and more proactive, and we have these air quality monitors, and we have a wonderful group of people here who does this kind of a job, and we see what quality of air we are breathing in, we will become more assertive in our actions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rahul. This brings me directly to Ronak. Ronak, you have an extensive experience in air quality monitoring spaces. Can you share some key levers which will enable more focused and effective solutions, which will bring us to the final thing on the industry, which will come from Mr. Sharma. So your question is a loaded one.
Sure, thanks Sunil so much. And thank you to CII for inviting me today for the session. So, about the data and, so your question was more about what data and technology can help with regards to clean air. So another question to the audience is, how many of you all use Google Maps to find how long is it going to take you to go from point A to point B? A show of hands, how many of you use the time estimate on Google? I would imagine almost everyone. Google started working on this in 1996. We are in 2025. They pretty much perfected it. It's a $10 billion product for Google today. The fact being, the reason we use it is that it is accurate. It tells you exactly it's going to be 14 minutes or 26 minutes. It doesn't tell you it's going to be 38 plus minus 20 minutes. You use this data because it is nearly accurate to a few minutes. It's also available throughout the country. I mean, it's pretty much available throughout the world. The fact is, anything to become useful, it needs to be accurate, it needs to be widely available. The thing with the story with air quality in India is that the government has deployed about 500 locations, each at about ₹1.5 crore. So about 800 to 900 crores have been invested so far in the last 8 years to give you air quality data from 500 locations. How many of you actually use the air quality data put out by the government to take any kind of action or insight? Yes, sir here, of course, because he works with the government agencies. But we are hard-pressed to find that that 800 crores has actually translated to anything of significance to the general audience, because that data is pretty much used by cities to track their yearly averages. So, effectively, if I had to summarize what are the 3 or 4 things which would really make the data work for people, we need to make the data accurate and affordable. The price currently, and in the afternoon there was a roundtable which said that now there is near reference technology available for about 1/4 to 1/5 the cost. It needs to be highly, spatially and temporally widely covering the country. You cannot just have Delhi currently has 45 of those 500 monitoring sites. About 10% is captured by Delhi, and Bombay and Bangalore come next. Effectively, if I have to say, get the data accurate at an affordable cost, make it highly dense, and have some amount of regulations to make this data authentic, because otherwise there'll be a lot of garbage data. Now, unlike the traffic data, air quality has an impact on health. So it also has an impact on the economy. If you start reporting certain, and Delhi is experiencing that, people are moving out of Delhi. In winter months, you may see a drop in your economy pretty much because of your AQI levels. The entire, people go to holiday elsewhere. So you need to be a little careful about how you use this data, but some amount of regulatory oversight combined with innovation and technology, I think can answer broadly what is being asked about over here.
Thank you very much, Ronak. This brings to Mr. Sharma. The very important aspect is, can you share examples of industry-led collaborative initiatives that have effectively improved the air quality? I am sorry, I changed the question because it was in a link which I started from Mr. Bansal. He is the person who initiated it. So you need to give me the industry answer.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Desai, and good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, I think the very first thing which is important is that our company, I belong to DCM Shriram. So the first thing is the mindset. The mindset which we heard yesterday also our Honorable Minister was talking about, that has to be put in place at the very first place in terms of taking any action if you want to really make air clean. So the first action which at a framework level we have in our company is whenever any capex is put up, it has an ESG assessment right at the beginning. What I want to say here is, if you are doing assessment right at the beginning, what needs to be taken care of in terms of air pollution control devices, if they are required at the very first place in any of the plant equipment, then it will cost less to ultimately pollute. But it will cost more to pollute but less to recover if you are taking this cost as part of the capex itself, whether it is air pollution or it is water or soil. So that is the very first, I think, framework which is put in place, which is helping us in terms of identifying. Now, having said that, the second part is when you are adopting some products, like we are into basically 3 verticals. One is agri-rural business, second one is chemicals and vinyl, and the third vertical is value added, which is basically Fenesta doors and windows. This is UPVC and aluminum doors and window business. So in all these businesses out of agri, I would like to talk about where we have specifically got into the circular economy model, where not only the molasses which is getting generated out of this sugar production is gainfully utilized in manufacturing alcohol, that is ethanol, which goes for petrol blending, which ultimately has reduced scope 3 emission in terms of GHG emission, which is one of the cause of this air pollution. That is something which has substantially reduced in the scope 3 emission. And secondly, the press mud, which is another waste generated out of sugar mill. We are converting it also now recently in the month of March. We have installed a CBG plant at one of our facility, which is of the capacity 12 ton per day, which amounts to almost 5,000 tons annually. That ultimately replaces the fossil fuel. So these are two actions in terms of the product. So it is not limited to the product, but as you know, the sugarcane is the main feedstock for our sugar production. So the extent of awareness that is created among farmers through our various flagship program by the name of Meetha Sona, so that ultimately has given us not only benefit to the company, but also to the farmers in terms of raising this awareness, has led to not only preventing that parali burning which we all hear. In UP, you will not hear any sort of such air pollution, because the entire biomass is over the years being utilized for this biocomposting by various farmers. So this has not only increased productivity at the farmer end, but also the sugarcane which we receive for sugar manufacturing also has yielded in terms of better sugar productivity. So this not only has enhanced income opportunity for the farmers, but also helped in saving water also, because through these sustainable agri practices that we share with our farmers, that ultimately has led to the tune of some 1,300 billion liters of water saving over these years, almost 8 to 9 years or so. And last year, we saved almost 160 billion liters of water. So that much saving has not only helped us in terms of having that water, which is a resource that is going to deplete in the times to come, but certainly is a valuable saving in terms of a natural resource. And in terms of renewable, as we also have captive power plants at our sites, so in Bharuch as well as Kota. So our endeavor is to get into the renewable also. So 2 years back, we started off with the renewable energy plant with the Renew Power collaboration, which is to the tune of some 50 megawatt. That ultimately is put up at Bhavnagar, which is supplying to us now at Bharuch. And going forward at Kota, we are coming up with another 68 megawatt in this year, which is going to be commissioned somewhere around March or so. So these initiatives ultimately is step forward in terms of reducing our air emissions, in terms of clean air, moving to the cleaner technologies which are available for us to adopt. And on plantation side, it will not be appropriate for me to share the commendable work our teams are doing at site, where plantation is on continual basis is carried out. And today when I speak, we have planted almost more than 6 lakh trees across all our sites we operate. And going forward, for last 2 years, we have also started mangrove plantation, which we have already succeeded in 4 lakh mangrove plantation in Gujarat. And our target is by this year end, we plan to achieve 1 million mangrove plantation. So this is something which ultimately we feel is an initiative in terms of the clean air initiative, in terms of providing better air to all our fellow people. And last but not the least, in terms of administrative actions, we also encouraging our employees to have carpooling. And happy to share with you, recently we have also introduced buses at our site in Gujarat, where 8 buses are deployed and 50 cars are eliminated. With that, now you can imagine how much GHG emissions can be reduced. And going forward, in this month only, we are going to move ahead with EV vehicles, replacing those buses also. So that ultimately is a drive from the corporate side, that whatever best we can do certainly can improve our environment in the times to come.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sharma. Yeah. That was quite an elaborative information which we have. This brings to one particular statement of what Mr. Sharma, Mr. Bansal, Ronak and Rahul mentioned. How many of you are aware of HAZOP from the industry? I think so. It's a very strange effect. You know, we all from the industry, but when we talk about building plants, we don't talk about design and do the detailed study of why HAZOP is required. I mean, Hindi mein bolu to, it is like, acha theek hai, yahan bana do. That's not the attitude. It requires attitude coming in from the bottom of your heart, which the minister said yesterday and emphasized by Mr. Sharma this afternoon also, that we need to change that synergy of what HAZOP is. HAZOP is not your enemy. It is analyzing your design consultant's capability. It analyzes your capability that you'll be able to run the plant effectively, or you're building the facility, meeting the requirement and mitigating the law, and you're not violating the environment. So we're running short on time. I would like to have very brief overview from my panel members, starting with Rahul. What do you think with the invent which is there in the NCR? How can we improvise to talk about public health? I would like to request, make it brief so we're not in time within the framework.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Desai. So first thing is, probably in a country like ours, large 1.4 plus billion population, carrot does not always work. So we've got to have a right mix of stick and a carrot. And government has done its job by placing the regulations. I'm very happy to announce after 46 long years, government has started something called as a BIS certification for the air filtration. So the large commercial residential buildings, what Mr. Bansal and others construct around us, they are no more allowed to use any kind of filters as they wish. They'll have to follow government regulations. They have to have ISO 16890 regulated, accredited filters at their places. Very soon, they will not be even allowed to wash any kind of air filters, because what dust they clean of the filters goes into the soil and then contaminates the groundwater. So first thing, Mr. Desai, would be the regulations. Second thing would be for all of us to become a very noble citizens and follow the ground rules. Do not behave when no one's watching, do whatever we like. And third, and the foremost, which is the most important for us as an organization, is that we must, and I say it starts from me today, to make sure that we educate our not only fellow panelists, not the audience, but everybody around the corner about something called as the life cycle cost, LCC, or the total cost of ownership. So typically an Indian mindset is whichever is the lowest bidder or the lowest cost product can be used. But typically we forget to look at a larger picture, which is that over a period of 5 years, the total cost of ownership of that lowest cost product today could be much higher. So there are two very good examples in front of us, which we see in our residencies every day. First, when government announced LED lights, right? Everybody had a lot of reservation. Why to change? Chalta hai. Then we saw the benefit it brought to the residential electricity bill. Second could be the washing machine or the refrigerator, which now comes only star labeled. You do not see any refrigerator in India, any air conditioner in India, which does not have a 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. So when you decide as a consumer to buy a 2-star air conditioner or a refrigerator, it's your choice. But at the same time, I have a choice to pick up a 5-star refrigerator or air conditioner, which could be slightly expensive today. But I know surely, looking at the label on that product itself, that over a period of 5 years, it will help me save 35% on my power bills. So awareness, regulations, and then last, which is the most important, as a consumer, it's our duty to pick up the right product. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Rahul, there's something which brings me to Mr. Bansal. You have elaborately given us the overview of what we are talking about, the construction industry part of it. But the add-on is what are the reforms which can be brought in for the land use in the urban planning? Because that is something which is a challenge. It's a very long subject, but I would like you to be brief and just tell us in few words that what are those 5 words which will help us to understand.
First of all, I will say that we should add forests. It's true, from the last 75 years, no new forests have been added into Delhi. So we are just adding the gardens, plants or something like that, but we are not doing this in the right way. I will give you an example. Everywhere we leave 10-15% of our projects in the green area, but what we are doing, we are planting decorative plants and trees like champa, like Elstonia, like these type of plants and trees. They doesn't help. If we plant forest in our site itself, it helps a lot. Like I will give you an example. There is a technology now, Miyawaki forest. So if you plant natural species like aam, jamun, neem, amla, breda, the plants which generate lots of oxygen and they take less space than earlier now. 25,000 trees can be planted in 1 acre only. So first try to increase the forest cover within your site itself like we have planted. We are just planting 1 lakh tree in our site at Krolbagh, 40 acre of site is there. So what we are doing, that entire periphery of the site, which is 6 meter wide, entire periphery of site, the natural species trees are planted. So it helps a lot in reducing the, you can say, environment, dust particles and lots of things are coming. And they are helping us in generating oxygens and many other things also. Secondly, when we construct the building, the reform should be that all the buildings should be net zero. If not net zero right now, it should be at least 5-star rated green building. Like Sharma ji was mentioning, nowadays we are buying AC or fridge which is 4-star, 5-star. Similarly, in the building also, building law should be such that the 5-star rated or platinum rated building should be mandatory. It should be the law. And we should try to go for the net zero building. It's not impossible. It's very much possible. So these should be the mandate, the law that you should certainly try to use the green building rating and try net zero. And thirdly, we should incentivize, the government should incentivize the buildings which are green building. Like in Delhi, Delhi is the only state in neighboring entire North India where this green building is not incentivized. If you construct green building in Gurgaon or Noida, it is 5% incentivized. And in Delhi, it's not so. Delhi needs more, you can say, much more incentivization. And instead of the NCR, and we are pursuing hard to government that why should not be incentivized. Instead of FAR also, the property tax should be relieved. There are many ways to, you can say, incentivize the green building. It's all our responsibility also to try and adopt the method which are environment friendly, or you can say healthy for our industry. Delhi is the most unfortunate place in the construction industry. I will give you an example. We have 6 weathers, and the best weather is for construction is October, November, and this AQI comes and construction stops. So we have to do a lot of, can say, law, a lot of reforms, a lot of
Mr. Bansal, thank you very much. Not being cynical about the thing, but why are we looking at all the time that we need concessions and some motivation? It should come from within. I mean, I just don't want to, I want to close this here very quickly. I'll discuss with you at length because I have got some other part of it. Brings me to Sharma, Mr. Sharma. A very quick, we have got only 5 minutes to run through. How can you companies prioritize environment, health, and safety strategies? Which is the first? Is the chicken or the egg or the bird or the feather?
I think it's the word itself, EHS, means you have to prioritize environment first. So other things will follow. But having said that, what I feel is whatever you do for health or even for safety also, it is an integral part. That's why we always say whenever we talk about EHS, these 3 are integral part of each other. If you are doing something at workplace in terms of improving safety, say it is workers' health in terms of reducing some emissions at workplace or reducing some noise level, it ultimately improves the environment as well as health also. So that way, this EHS is something which is an integral part of each other.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sharma. So we say EHS is the heart, brain, and the body. Thank you. That brings me to Ronak. In the abundance of research and data, repositories of the quality, the translation of data into action-enabled evidence remains limited. What are your thoughts on how we can bridge this gap to drive real-world improvements? I want only in 5 words. We don't have time because there's another clock to beat it.
I think I can say just two things actually. I mean, air quality or AQI data is getting into insurance and it's making it highly actionable. A lot of you, your insurance plans ask you if you're smoking or not. Tomorrow it's going to ask you how much AQI you've been exposed to in the past year. And if your if your friends are going to pay less and you're going to pay more, it's going to hurt. We're also seeing real estate prices are going to get affected. I mean, and that's, it's going to pain you when your real estate price drops, because you are in an area which is poorer in AQI. And these are all going to be real economic hits that, people are going to take. So I think these are places where AQI is going to pinch.
Thank you very much. And this brings to close to our session. If I can only take 2 questions, if there are any. Or else, we leave the deliberations so you can come back to us and CII and ask us what are your viewpoints on clean air, because that is something which is important for you as well as to take the deliberations forward to the next level in the next meeting when we meet across again. Anybody? Yes, ma'am, please. Be brief, and the question should be short. Otherwise, the answer will be in 2 paragraphs.
Sure, sir. So my name is Karuna. My question is that, as per my understanding, the government is not tracking VOCs in the air in terms of monitoring the quality of air, the targets that they have. I mean, it is so obvious and defies common sense. Why is it not happening, and when do you see it happening? Yeah, that's the question.
You want who the panel?
Anyone. Yeah.
Rahul, this is your area. I think so. You can start with that.
Yeah, it's like, killing or hatching the lowest hanging fruit first. And because like Mr. Modi rightly said, if you would have heard him, let's capture what is visible first, right? And unfortunately, dust is visible, VOCs are not visible as much.
So that's not a good enough answer, sorry.
No, you're right. This is not the answer. This is just the point I'm trying to make. You asked why, right? This is how it starts. And now having said that, VOCs are a very, very integral part of some of the industries, and their VOCs are treated first. For example, data centers. Vehicular, oil and gas, refineries. Only when it comes to residential, commercial buildings and spaces like Delhi NCR, we tend to ignore it. But now, government having taken first step towards BIS regulations, the second one is coming on VOCs. It's work in progress, yes.
So anybody wants to add anything? So you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, don't worry about it. We moved from 75, another 5 years later, we'll have the implementation.
Okay, hope so.
Don't give it up.
Okay, thank you, sir.
My name is Ankit. I have a question for Mr. Bansal. So we talk about use of sustainable materials all the time, and you yourself as a builder, do you find difficult to find these kind of materials easily in the market? And what is the solution if it is there?
Nowadays, thank you, Ankit. Nowadays, it's improving. The materials are now available. Rather, we have now many options available. Like the bricks we were already talking. Initially, they started with the fly ash bricks. Now, AAC blocks are available. So you have to select between the 2. So each and every aspect, like the glazed glass, the aluminum, the lifts, the motor, everything is now improving. Things are available now, and as Sir rightly said, things are improving very fast. So we have lots of options available now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This brings to close to our session, and we have wish you for the next session a lot more to learn and understand. We would also join you. If there are some more questions, please address them to CII, and we would be glad to respond to you very quickly, addressing to any of the respective panel members. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, with this, we end this session. Our sincere gratitude to our panel members and the moderator for making this relevant and an insightful discussion. Could all speakers please gather for a group photograph? May I now request the moderator, Mr. Sunil Desai, to hand over the token of gratitude to all our panel members. May I now request Mr. Shikhar Jain, Executive Director, CII-ITC Center of Excellence for Sustainable Development, to hand over the token of gratitude to our moderator, Mr. Sunil Desai.